Hello everyone. I'm doing a video of my backyard according to the birds this time. My backyard we've created for the birds. You gotta love a man who will build me a wood pile in my front yard for the quail. The quail come up over the hill and with their babies, and they'll all hide in the wood pile here. And then they'll pop out and they'll run up these wonderful sticks that Rob has put up here. I think they're an old plum tree or something. And they'll sit right at the very top of that and look all around, and it's just wonderful to watch out the living room window. So as you can see, I'm going to turn this way. You can see the house is right there. So we're fairly close. There's just a pathway in between. As we walk over this way, Rob has put up these wonderful two stumps for me. And on the first one here, we're growing a clematis. And on the second one is a honeysuckle with all the red berries on it. And there's still some flowers up on top. It's sort of taken over. I think I'm going to have to trim it next year. Underneath this blue tarp here is actually a basin for a waterfall. And the waterfall is going to come down that hill and into this basin, but we haven't got around to that yet, but it's in the works. So that's what all these rocks are for along here. And we have some plants in pots, and as you see, there's a tomato, there's some lemon balm, and these are fuchsias that I've gotten that are wild fuchsias around this area. And I just took snipping off a plant and rooted them, and last year they took off. So this year they came up, and I'm very excited about them. I'll plant them this fall. This is a Christmas tree stand, and you'll see more about that a little further on. So I'm just going to give you a view of the garden here. This is a new garden bed we put in, and there's another one back there with the delphinium in. And here's one here that centers on the rosemary. And over here is all my birding stuff. And then there's the house again. So I'm going to turn right back this way. And in this garden bed, I wanted something to plant for the hummingbirds. So in here is mainly salvia. And then there's a large bee balm at the back there, and which the hummingbirds are loving. I didn't know that they would, but they do. This one here is called lipstick. It's white with a little red tip. Most of them are gone. And as you can see here, here's another one of the fuchsia bushes. And I'm going to have to switch that around or move the salvia, because it actually can get into quite a big bush. It can grow about 5 feet high and 4 or 5 feet wide. So I've crowded things a little. If you're wondering what the netting is, it is to prevent the quails from eating or having a dust bath and digging and eating grubs in the garden. They love dust baths. They like it better than having a bird bath. Over here is my wildflower garden and pussy willow tree. And yes, there is potatoes down there. We don't know where they came from, but we're letting them grow. The wildflower gardens was a whole bunch of wild seeds that I had for hummingbirds, for bees, for all those sorts of things. And I just threw them out and thought, well, we'll see if they work. And they did, and they're beautiful. And here's one pink poppy, and it looks like there's another poppy coming up there. This might be a little bright for you. But they're closing up for the night. And you can see a bee down there trying to get in one. But the bees are wonderful. I wish they were out right now, because the bees crawl inside these. Let's see if we can find one. The bees crawl inside the poppies, and then they circle around and around and around inside of them, and they gather all the pollen on their leaves, or on their legs. And it's wonderful. Here's some peppermint, and here is a beautiful blue pot. And if anybody comes up to my waist, it's quite big. If anybody in the family wants to claim it, first come, first serve. Just let me know, and we'll bring it out next time we come. Here's my rose garden. It's looking a little sad at the moment. Just this one at the end has roses on them. But I've been picking them and using them in the house, and they're just beautiful. They smell so wonderful. And as a matter of fact, the hummingbirds were trying to get nectar out of the roses. I don't know if they do or not, but they were going from rose to rose, so it was really interesting watching them. Here's my pampas grass. Oh, I'm so excited about it because it sat in a pot for so many years, and this year it has bloomed. And in the spring, the hummingbirds will come and they will take the fluff off the flowers and use it for their nests. So I'm very excited about that. There's a rhoda there. There's a yucca that's in bloom. These are birch trees in behind here. There's a hummingbird just came up to the top up there. Don't know if I'm showing you that or not. And there's the sequoia right there. There's another rhoda there. This is the dogwood. And there is a lilac in behind. And that's a curly, what is it called? Curly willow. This is the rowan, and I got this for Christmas, and I'm sorry, Mum, but it's not doing very well. It was planted in the spring instead of the fall, and so I think that's what sort of set it back a bit, but it's still got green leaves on it. So I'm watering it, so I'm sure that this fall and next year it'll be lovely. I got a couple of plants down here. Can't remember what they're called, but somebody will let me know, I'm sure. A little azalea there. Here's a butterfly tree that I just took from a neighbor. It was just a little clipping, and it's already had its flowers, and the hummingbirds loved it, so did the bees. And actually, I have had way more butterflies in my backyard this year than ever before. There's a rhododendron and a hydrangea, and there's a white hydrangea right here. And then this is my other garden that's all done in salvia, except for my delphinium. Oh, it's so beautiful. I just love it. And so I'm going to plant more. I don't know if the bees or the hummingbirds like it or anything else, but I do. So I'm going to get more. This is one of my favorites. I mean, it's such a beautiful purple. And then this is, I don't know whether that's a coral or it must be a coral. And then the blue all around. This is a magnolia, this little tree here that comes out in the wintertime. And so it flowers in the winter. It's got white flowers on it, and it's lovely, and the hummingbirds like it. So here's my garden. This was established at one point in time, just this little corner here around the stump. So there's heather and irises and periwinkles around it. Now, Mum gave me hostas last fall, and I've put them in the wrong spots because you see they're burning. And so this fall I'll dig them up, and I'll probably put them underneath the trees over here where they'll be a little more protected from the sun. Here's a rosemary. I like rosemary in just about everything I cook, so that's wonderful. And there's a hosta down in there that's doing a little better. Sunflowers everywhere because I put sunflowers in my compost. And these flowers, the hummingbirds, they just love them. And I've written a post about them, and I'll put a link to that. But they are just wonderful. I can't remember what they're called or how to pronounce it. But Mum gave me all these wonderful plants last year from her garden, and they have just done tremendously here. And let me say, they're very drought resistant because I don't water them very often. Here's another plant that the hummingbirds love, and it's a vermilion I'll write it down. It's lovely. Now I've got nasturtiums growing in there, and I think there's even a tomato plant. Don't know where those came from, but we love them. These plants are almost completely finished, but these ones have just come out. So they're a shorter variety. And there is a Christmas rose down there, as well as a mums that's coming out. Don't know where that one came from. So now you see, this is my birding area. I'm backing up here. This is my birding area. There's a fuchsia there that I have had for about 4 or 5 years that I've grown. There's a bonsai sunflower. It's the same sunflower seeds, they just didn't grow that well. I sit on the deck here and I watch the birds. This is a wonderful bird bath that I got. And actually I have 2 of them. I just haven't figured out where to put the other one. But I will have 15 starlings in here. They come around 5 o'clock when it's sort of too dark to take a picture, but they just flood the area and all the water will be gone. Underneath the bird bath here, or the bird feeders, you'll see there's cement and there's a small ring and then a big ring. The small ring was the one we initially did, and then we found it got muddy around the edge, but it makes it just so much easier to clean everything up. So here is where I use the Christmas tree stands. You'll see down here, and there's another stand over there with a pole in it. There's a different type of stand there, and over here there is a couple more. And they're wonderful because they're movable. So with this one, the birds come in and they like to sit on it and look at everything. But if the light's not right and I'm taking pictures, I can move it around. This green saucer down here is for the raccoons, because if I don't leave them a place to get some water, they will just mess up the bird baths. This is a stump that I've put in here that for the quail and the pigeons, the bandtail pigeons and that, they'll come and they'll sit on here, look all around. They like to be up high, so that's sort of neat. This tree in behind us is wonderful. It all comes out in white flowers. You can see most of them are dead, and the birds love to hide in it. So that's a great feature. Something just flew out. Everything we've done in the backyard here is basically for the birds. This is an old tree on a tree stand. This is some of the birds like to eat off the ground or off a base, so I put food up there, and or we'll put moss and stuff like that on it for taking pictures. This is a what do you call it? It's Niger seed for the finches, and the finches will just glom onto that and eat it, and it'll go down in a day. The feeder at the back there that you're seeing on an angle, I think it holds 2 pounds of food, and it takes them a couple of days to go through that. You'll see just a little chickadee just flew onto there. Whereas the ones over here, all of these ones, except for the suet, will go down, well, every day, and sometimes I fill them up twice a day. They're, especially when they have babies and that, when the birds have babies. Here is a pole for the woodpeckers and the flickers. And here's my drip that's dripping away here. And you see I've got a pole with holes in it that I can put different sticks in to allow me to take all sorts of different pictures. So the birds love the drip, and they will come and have their bird baths and everything like that in there. They seem to like it. It's sort of more protected than the other one. Back here we have, in the forest, we have a larger butterfly tree, but just sort of found out that butterfly trees need 6 to 8 hours of sunlight every day, and quite frankly they aren't getting it back there. So it's looking a little less than stellar, but the hummingbirds still seem to like it. I have this wonderful bush here, and it has flowers in the spring, white flowers, and it's just gorgeous. And then it has these orange berries in the fall. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to clean this area out a little more, and so I can have more of them. Oh, well, here we go. Here is one of my blinds. I don't know how dark that is there, but you can see my tripod sticking out, and I have a chair in there, and I just sit in there and poke my camera through the hole here, right here. And the birds take no notice whatsoever. Here's the water tap, and this is my office right here, and this tree is set up in front of it because what it does is it stops the birds from crashing into my window. Since I have it up, I haven't had any problems with birds bumping into the window at all, which is a great feature. Right now, on the suet, there's a little chickadee in there. I have, it's within a cage, and that keeps out the starlings. But in the wintertime, I like to use this one here. This is all my extra birding stuff. I like to use this one as, that's what the birds prefer overall. So I'm just going to come and sit up on the deck, and we'll watch the birds come in. They're actually quite friendly. And you can see how I watch the birds in my backyard. There's the goldfinch. Those are nuthatches getting suet. You can see over on the, oh, he just hopped off. Over where the Niger seed is, there's another goldfinch over there. But this is what my backyard is usually like. It's just full of birds. They hide in the bushes, and then when they feel safe, they come out. It's wonderful. I hear a hummingbird. I have 2 hummingbird feeders. You'll see one right here. And up above it is the nesting material that the hummingbirds use this year. And I've got pictures of them coming and taking it. And I have no idea where they built their nests. I searched high and low for little white pieces somewhere, but couldn't find anything. There's a rufous hummingbird going over to the drip. Lots of times the hummingbirds will go have a bath there, but looks like he's gone. Anyway, I'm going to end this, as I could sit and watch the birds all day, but I'm not sure everybody could. So here is a view. Oh, a little hummingbird just came and sat up on top there. Here's a view from my deck where I sit and watch the birds. On the other side of the post there. There's my gardens. And all the way over there. Oh, I've got a squirrel in the back. I am thoroughly enjoying my gardens this year. I am so glad we put in all the flowers and that. It's just a joy to sit here and watch the flowers and the birds and talk about peaceful. It's wonderful. Have a great day. Bye-bye.